Greetings, Benjamin J. from Ben's Trains with another in the series. Well, still playing with the Marx 6000 that arrived today. A and B unit, 20 bucks on eBay, and just made the guy an offer on it. Anyway, I put it on the Lionel rail. Now, to pull Lionel with a Marx locomotive is difficult because you can't couple tab and slot to the Lionel coupler. There's a huge size difference in the height, and there's just no practical way to do this. So what I've done is just taken an old Marx truck, or old Lionel truck that had a coupler on it, and I just added a tab and slot directly to the truck. And it gives you an instant transition from Marx tab and slot to Lionel knuckle coupler. And it's really simple to do this. It costs nothing. It's just made out of junk, out of the junk box. And the nice thing about it, of course, is you can throw it on a Marx locomotive and then couple directly to Lionel. So the Marx 6000 A and B on the Lionel rail. Let's see how this runs. It runs in reverse, of course, and it runs forward. So let's take this around, take it up to 50% power. So as you see, it's running just absolutely splendidly. No problems. All I had to do basically was clean it, lube it, and replace the headlight. I've done nothing else to it at all. Simple maintenance. This thing had been sitting for years. It hadn't been sitting for decades, but it had been sitting for years. This thing had not run on a rail in years. There was some oxide on the wheels, but I got that off with a razor blade. And the locomotive is running just absolutely splendidly. Nice and smooth, good constant speed all the way around. Plenty of power to spare since this is 50% power. So it was definitely worth the 20 bucks. And that's one thing about eBay. eBay is like a supermarket of Marx locomotives. And of course, a lot of times you'll find people that are selling these things for hundreds of dollars. You know, they know nothing about them. And they find it at a yard sale or an estate sale or an auction somewhere. And they think they're worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. You know, they're old, so that makes them valuable. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. So in any case, 20 bucks. And like I said, I just made an offer. This was going to expire in just a few hours. So no one had bid on it. So I offered 20 bucks, he accepted, and here it is. And like I said, on eBay, you never know what you're really going to get. You're buying it from a description and some photos. And the photos looked like they were taken with a potato. And they just were not very good at all. And so I was pleasantly surprised. Like I said, there's just a bit of rust there, bit of play wear. There's no damage. There's no major dents or damage to the bodies at all. The motor's in really, really good shape. The only problem with it, of course, like so many of these, it had been sitting for years and years and years. This has not been on a rail probably in 10 years or more. But it only takes a few minutes, and it's basically just simple maintenance, cleaning and getting everything lubricated. The axles were so dry they squeaked. And so a few drops of oil, literally a few drops of oil on the axles and the wheels, clean the brushes and the armature, get everything lubricated. And in this case, I had to replace the headlight. It was burned out, probably from being dropped or stored badly. But in any case, it's up and running, pulling Lionel. And like I said, I'm just using the coupler truck. And it's just a Lionel truck, has the coupler on one end. And then I just added a tab and slot and bent it, as you see, so it'll couple directly to a Marx locomotive. Instant transition from Marx to Lionel. It's really simple. It costs nothing. Made this out of the junk box, of course. But this locomotive is just running absolutely perfectly. No problems of any kind. It runs forward and reverse. It's in really decent shape. It was definitely worth 20 bucks. There's no doubt about that. So, like I said, it's a lot of fun to do this. Be able to take these old locomotives, bring them back to life, and lots and lots of times. It's nothing but a few drops of oil, replacing the headlight, getting things cleaned up, getting the oxide off of them, and they take off and they run like they were made yesterday. And as you see, it's running just splendidly. No problems at all. And pulling 12 Lionel cars. So I'm really pleased with it, as I said. So like I said, I'll be putting it through its paces the rest of the day. The only way to tell how they're really going to run is to run them. And so I'll run this the rest of the day, and I'm not anticipating any problems. So far, so good. Well, it wasn't terribly stored. It's been played with, but it's actually been taken fairly good care of. And like I said, there's just this one spot of rust right there. It has some scuffs and scratches, but remember, this thing's, what, 50, 60 years old. So that's to be expected on anything this age. And they were toys, after all. Anyway, I'm really pleased with it. I haven't had a bit of problem with it since I took it apart and cleaned the motor, lubricated everything. It's running really well forward and reverse. And the nice thing about this truck, of course, is that it's really stable. So you can run this in reverse without buckling the couplers and derailing it, as you see. So it runs quite well. So, like I said, it was definitely worth the 20 bucks. There's no doubt about that. A lot of times you'll see the B unit alone by itself, and people are asking more than that for it. So it runs nice, it looks good, it's a great addition to the collection, and it's always fun to take an old locomotive and bring it back to life. Lots and lots of fun. So I just want to do a follow-up video. I'll be running this the rest of the day, like I said, but I wanted to put it on the Lionel rail and see how it would do pulling Lionel. No problems at all. 12 Lionel cars, running just absolutely splendidly. So just a quick follow-up. Marx 6000 A and B unit, eBay, 20 bucks. Really difficult to beat that. Anyway, just a quick follow-up on the Marx 6000 A and B. It's going to be a lot of fun to run this. Got it cleaned up, lubed, tuned, and it's running just absolutely perfectly. So a quick follow-up. Just as always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email. BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.